Welcome to Family Gamer TV. Now today we've got a really nice exclusive, a new game coming, and I've got the Chief Creative Officer of Seriously with me, Petri Jarbilekta, if I'm saying that right.
You're doing great.
Is that okay?
Great to be here, Andy.
Well, thanks for giving us some time. So now the thing that's driving us to talk today is a new game that your company's announcing, Best Fiends. But before we get to that, I wanted to hear very briefly your illustrious history in game development.
Well, overall, as a background on Seriously, we've started the company about a year ago. We have people like Miguel Francisco, who was lead character designer at Rovio, or Reco, who was heading design at Natural Motion. And my background is from companies like Remedy, and for the past years I've been heading games unit at Rovio, responsible on various Angry Birds titles like Angry Birds Space or Star Wars or similar.
Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at the sort of the website here for Best Fiends, which is the first game you're producing, and it does have an Angry Birds sort of feel to it, but I presume you're saying it's quite a different sort of experience this time round.
Absolutely, it's a totally different experience, and we've put a lot of effort into creating something that can really stand on its own.
And so, in this sort of piece of art where you've got, is it the slugs and the fiends? Is that right, or what are these characters here we're seeing?
The characters on the left are the best fiends, and the slugs are their voracious opposition. Backstory for the title is, and the best fiends universe in general begins with our little fiends living happily in the world of minutia, and then something goes horribly wrong, and the entire world is basically invaded and taken over by voracious, ominous slugs that eat everything in their way. And we begin with the game with our little heroes getting overrun by the voracious army of snarkness. And at that point, our little kids are basically left all alone in the world, and they set out on an epic journey towards a foreboding Mount Boom, where the slugs are coming from, and where all the answers await.
Sounds great. So that sounds like a good moment to have a look. We've got a bit of footage here.
So what we're seeing here is introductions to some of the characters. One of the very central game design tenets for us was how do we build characters that can transform? How do you build characters that can grow into something much bigger as you start playing the game? So initially you're seeing the first early kind of kiddie stages of the characters, and as you choose them into your team, as you keep playing with them, you can level them up and increase their skills and literally turn them into more fiendish versions of themselves.
So we had Jojo there, starting off as a sort of chrysalis almost, is that right? And then
she definitely goes through very strong stages of growth and transformation during the gameplay.
And then if we go back a bit further in the video, we had, was that Quincy? What sort of character is he?
Quincy the spider.
Oh yeah, of course.
And he's basically he's the goofy sidekick type of character who keeps running into things, and he's basically somebody that we're seeing resonate extremely strongly with the players. Everyone seems to attach to Quincy strongly.
Yeah, it's nice. So this is obviously something you've been playtesting. What's been the response to the game from players?
I'm very happy with the way things have been clicking together. Right now, we've been testing the game for several months on various samples of player sizes, and we're seeing players coming back to the game over and over again.
And are you able to say, I know we haven't got any footage of the game currently, but you able to sort of give us a broad feel for what it's like to play, what sort of style of gameplay we're looking at?
Sure. So essentially we started with the idea of how do we take puzzle gaming to the next level. If you look at puzzle games like, say, various match 3 games or similar are something that everyone can pick up and play. But we felt that there's so much more that you can do with that genre. And we started with the destination of, let's take a super approachable puzzle gameplay pattern that's very fun, that's easy to pick up and play. And how do we integrate characters into the core of that gameplay? So essentially, while you're playing the game, the actual metagame is about discovering new characters, leveling them up, choosing the right team for a different puzzle, and then kind of every player is building their own experience. And that way, there's a lot of interesting choices for the player, on top of the very, very addictive core gameplay.
So if you've got a particular character, is there a choice in how you upgrade? So if we're looking at Jojo,
every player can choose what characters do you want to focus on, which characters do you level up, which are your favorite characters. So each character has its own specific skill. So while the characters develop, their skills grow as well. And that way, in the game, you have a team of 5 different characters to play with, and you can always, for every level, you can try to choose the optimal setup or your favorite characters to play with. And essentially, if you look at content creation, what we're doing with Seriously is we're creating casual games that are where we put a lot of effort into the progression. So we want to create games that can be, your daily ritual that you play in the morning and take a session during the lunch break and then maybe play 40 minutes during the evening, only to start over next day again. And that way, it's been extremely important for us to put a lot of effort into the progression mechanics. So there's always things to look forward to. There's new worlds to unlock. There's new characters to discover, new characters to rescue, new gameplay to look forward to.
And in terms of how it's going to be sold, is it a free to play and then you have in-app purchases, or is there a cost to start?
It is free to download, and there's IAPs involved. But the way we've approached this is essentially, how do you do free to play right? Every game should be a huge amount of fun to play with, whether you pay or not.
Are there any plans for bringing a sort of spin-off cartoon, and also this trend of linking between physical toys and virtual gameplay, like with Telepods and Skylanders? Is that something you're in your sights as well?
So we put a huge amount of effort into the way, how do we build the world, how do we develop the IP, and the reason for doing that is obviously consistency within the game world and being able to derive a series of games and a roadmap of future games around the same IP. But at the same time, it's something that leverages itself really well for extending outside the game. We haven't announced anything on that front at this point, but it's something that we certainly keep in mind.
Super. Well, I'm itching to see the game now, but we have to wait a little while longer. But we'll be sure to check back with you. Yeah, we'll be sure to check back with you just as soon as you're able to share that. But thanks for your time today. That's really exciting, and all the best for the game.
Excellent. It's really good talking to you.